We are back with the chilling effect of Israel's shutdown today of Al Jazeera's operations in the country and the message it sends just 2 days after World Press Freedom Day. With us now, Mohammed Mawad, managing editor of Al Jazeera. Mohammed, it's great to have you with us. We just laid out how today marked a new extreme in Israel's efforts to muzzle Al Jazeera's coverage. First of all, what is your response to the decision and the actions by the Israeli government in shutting down your organization's operations inside Israel?
Thanks for having me, Ayman. This is a sad day for all the journalistic community. This is an attack on journalism that has started from the beginning of this war. The Israeli government has been placing pressure on us, then targeting our journalists directly. Three of our colleagues were killed covering from the front line by an Israeli airstrike. And the intimidation continued with this decision today. And we consider it a criminal action by the Israeli government because it violates the human rights laws and it's against the human rights and the freedom of expression. And we will continue to pursue all legal actions needed to counter this and to make sure that we respond to these baseless allegations against Al Jazeera that we think is an effort to silence our coverage in Gaza and to conceal what's happening there. And that's why we are not going to weaponize our platform. We are going to continue the coverage, impartial, objective coverage of Al Jazeera from the beginning of this war. And that's a commitment that Al Jazeera have taken since the launch of the channel.
Let me ask you just about, if you can, the operations for a minute. Can you clarify what territories Israel's shutdown of Al Jazeera means to you? As I understand it, the ban is only being enforced inside what is called Israel proper, the 1948 line, not the occupied territories of the West Bank, Gaza, or East Jerusalem. Where will the ban be enforced exactly? And what is your logistical impact on your reporting?
To be honest, Ayman, since this decision is a politicized one, the situation is ambiguous. The Israeli government have enacted a law that would allow the prime minister and its cabinet, even the minister of communication, to take actions against Al Jazeera under an emergency law, and this allows for a 45 days ban. And that kind of ban, which is a very ambiguous kind of word, is enacted according to the government itself. They can do it for the Israeli territories only, and they can extend it to the Palestinian territories as well. But up until now, the actions that was taken is limited to Israel and Jerusalem. That's why you have seen in this images that you have heard before this interview, them trying to block our team from covering the news from a remote location. This wasn't our office, but rather a room for a live location for our Al Jazeera English team. And that goes as well for other locations of Al Jazeera and the main office, of course, in Jerusalem. We have an office in Ramallah, the West Bank. Up until now, we haven't received anything to indicate that they are going to take action against that office. But of course, this ambiguous kind of law and a statement by the government could be weaponized against us as much as the Prime Minister Netanyahu needs.
Let me ask you about why you think the Israeli government did this from your opinion. Because on one hand, Al Jazeera was the first, if not certainly one of the first, to broadcast the statements of the Israeli government many, many years ago. You were the first network to have Israeli officials speak directly to the Arab world. Al Jazeera was accused at some times of normalizing Israel in the Arab world. And now the Israeli government is shutting you down, saying you are harming national security, you're not meeting professional standards that are applied around the world. Why do you think Al Jazeera was shut down by the Israeli government after a long history with Israel?
Ayman, we have seen this intimidation before in the Arab world with the authoritarian regimes. They have accused us of violating the security or threatening the national security, and the definition of national security has been weaponized against us and used against us to stop us from covering the news and covering the unsavory aspects of government and officials. And we have seen that repeating itself now with Israel, which is a little surprising because it calls itself a democracy. But it is the same story and the same argument the same argument again. We've been banned in some countries, the aftermath of Arab Spring, because they claimed we are a threat to the national security. And that's the same argument the Israeli government is using now. And to your point regarding the Arab world, we've been criticized a lot by the Arab world that we are inviting Israeli officials to be on Al Jazeera, and at the same time air what contradicts their statements. But we continue to invite them. We continue to interview them. And, however, we know that most of our audiences don't feel comfortable having them on our screen. But we are committed to the impartial, objective coverage, and we continue to invite and interview them as well as invite Hamas leaders and interview them as well. And that's our coverage from the beginning of the war.
Let me ask you, we have about 45 seconds left, but are you concerned what this might mean for other international news organizations operating in Israel? Should they be concerned following what happened today to your news organization?
Of course, and I call upon the international community to take action this time. We've seen the killing of our journalists and no one done anything. I mean, this time it is very important because up till now, we are 7 months now in this war and more than this, and we haven't seen any international journalists entering Gaza, and we think that this move is an attempt to silence Al Jazeera and to conceal what's happening inside the Gaza Strip and to try to delegitimize our coverage by saying that we don't operate in Israel. But we are committed. We are continuing the coverage. We'll make sure that we have all the press conferences out there and all the news out there, despite the fact that we don't operate there now. But we have our means of news gathering, and we will continue to be committed to the impartiality.
All right. Mohammed Moawad, the managing editor of Al Jazeera in Doha, thank you so much for staying up late for us. I greatly appreciate your time and your insights.